Hello, this message is for someone who is feeling right now very entitled to receive something from someone else. So, if this message is for you, there's somebody in your life that you consider to have higher ranking than. So, maybe you're their boss, maybe you're their parent, maybe whatever the case is, you have some sort of rank above them, is your perception of the dynamic. And I mean, it might be correct if you're someone's parent or someone's boss. But what I'm getting here is you feel like they're not giving you something that you intrinsically deserve due to your position in their life, okay? So say you're their parent. You're dealing with, I can't imagine this is a very young child. This has to be at least a teenager because it's someone with very much a mind of their own. And, granted, I had a mind of my own by age 7. That was inevitable. But, so maybe it is a child. Either way, you're dealing with someone who very much has a mind of their own. And you feel there's certain behavior they owe you, certain respect, certain deference I'm getting. And this person is not giving you that right now. Okay? And if this message is for you, you feel really, you feel tested. You feel tested because you feel like this person is acting out, but at the same time, they're not exactly, let's say, misbehaving, okay? So if this message is for you and you find yourself in that position of authority over someone, say exactly you're their boss, maybe they didn't break any rules per se, even if it's your kid. They didn't break any rules, they didn't do anything wrong, but something about their attitude towards you, you're not liking. And what you're not liking about it is how it's making you feel like challenged. But what you're realizing, the more and more you think about it, is that they didn't do anything wrong. That maybe it's natural that someone would be the way they are. But again, you're struggling with this because of your position in this person's life, feeling like you're losing something from them not fitting into this role and this dynamic that you expect from them. Okay, so what's going on here is this person feels like you haven't earned that from them. Okay, and even if it's a young child, I guess they're smart, strong-minded, and enough of a critical thinker to have come to the conclusion on their own. There's something you're doing in the way you're treating this person that, I mean, to say it's rubbed them the wrong way is probably an understatement, because given your position of authority in their life, it's sort of almost shaped them, actually. The way you've treated them and made them feel bad, that's what I'm getting, has played a huge role in them becoming this way. It's almost like they've become this way as a defense mechanism towards you and the way you were treating them, which they didn't like, okay? So this is kind of a tough shadow work message for whoever it is. I'm not a parent, but I imagine it would be hard to hear that, okay? I have been people's boss. I'm a terribly empathic person, though, so I don't know if I've been in that position where someone felt like I wasn't taking them into account like that. Because what I'm getting here is this person feels so mishandled. Okay, so even if it's a child, they just feel like you don't treat them right. They don't like something about the way you treat them. So I'm getting something, the picture I'm getting here is someone is not giving you they're not looking up to you because they just don't feel like they look up to you actually anymore. Okay, I don't know, maybe they did look up to you at one point, but they don't right now. It's something, it's not been overnight. What I'm getting also too is you haven't noticed like very big obvious things that have been happening in front of you. Because what I'm getting is if this message is for you, you almost like checked out of this person's life for an extended period of time. And so maybe if it's your kid, like you haven't been keeping up with like who their friends are or what they're into, or where they're at in school, or what's going on with them in their lives. And maybe it's been going on for a more extended period of time than you realize. And say your kid is 13. For a 13-year-old to not keep track of them for 2 years is a really long time. Even though for maybe a 45-year-old, 2 years is just, I had a tough phase out working with your mother or your father, and that's why I sort of wasn't paying enough attention. But for a child between ages 11 and 13, that is like a pivotal time in their life, and it's also a very significant amount of time in their life. And so for you to not have kept up with whatever's going on with them, there's like a big gap in understanding them. Like what I'm getting is like, if it's an employee, for example, yeah, maybe you haven't had any like personal touch base moments with them in like, yeah, maybe like a couple years or something. So you are actually like truly out of touch with where this person is at. Like if it's your child, in terms of like their development of their personality, their taste is where they're at with things, and how they feel about you, and the kind of person they're becoming, okay? Because what I'm getting is if it's a child, this is a person with a very strong personality that is developing right in front of you. And I'm also getting that there's been like all these signs that you have chosen to ignore. Or maybe there's these big things happening in your child's life that you have downplayed, or, big developments in their personality that you have maybe labeled as faces and not given much thought to, okay? But like they are actually like huge pillar uh foundations of their personality that's developing in front of you. Like there's huge development and growth happening here right in front of you that I'm getting that you've been kind of oblivious to, but also like sort of downplaying it, maybe to soothe yourself from the feeling that you're not there enough or something like that. So maybe you downplay it as some like children's face or whatever, and you think there will be something else next year, right? And so who cares? Well, the end result is now you're dealing with someone who, listen, it's not that they don't love you or have you in high regard if you're their boss, but I mean, I'm not saying they don't respect you. They do love you. Their respect maybe is not fully there. Like maybe they have a respect for you on a basic level of you're my father, my mother, my boss, whatever. But like as a person and in your personal history with them, that sense of respect has been kind of lost because of the way you've treated them. And you haven't noticed, it seems. So now these are the consequences, and you feel like they're acting brand new. But it's not really new because it's been developing right in front of your eyes, and you just haven't been paying that much attention. And by the time you're noticing, it's because the changes are now very noticeable, they seem stark changes to you. If it's your child and you have a spouse, they might be telling you, well, hun, they've been into soccer now for 2 years, and or they've hated that now for a year, or they, this has been their whole new thing, or whatever the case may be. You're out of the loop, and as you're catching on, you're trying to dismiss the changes when in reality you should be paying attention and adapting to them if you want to have a good relationship with this kid and you want them to respect you, or if you want to have a good relationship with this employee and you want them to respect you, and you want it to be a reciprocal, respectful, dynamic in which they continue to look up to you. Because what I'm getting is very annoying to you that they don't seem to look up to you now. Okay, you don't feel like they're deferential enough, but it's just not coming natural to them right now. And so it's like they feel like you kind of have to earn it. So I hope that was helpful.